Hey guys, it's Woody the Unexceptional Gamer, and first off, I'm sorry about the Battlefield 4 footage. I know I've used it already. I don't have anything I haven't used. I have no games on my hard drive, not one. I just haven't been playing much. My family's out of town, and my schedule changes up when they're not here. So anyway, I won't use this again, I swear, but let's get on with Mail Monday. Alright, before I begin the next letter, for my international people, he's going to be talking about college. You should hear that as university. They are the same thing. It's the school that you go away to when you're 18 years old. They're very selective about who they choose. This is university, but we call it college here in the US. Anyway, here goes. Hey Woody, I'm a junior in high school in New York City and I had a question about college. Recently I saw my college advisor and he basically told me there was pretty much no reason for me to go out of state to college because the degree I would be receiving there would mean the same as the degree I receive here, but if I get it here, it's only about 20% of the price, like 80% discount. My out-of-state choices are University of Michigan, Indiana University, Michigan State University, and finally Ohio State University. For those of you that don't know, those are all very good schools. I was looking forward to being able to go away and experiencing college, but there's more opportunities here for me in New York City or state through internships, expenses, etc. My question is, how do I go about deciding what's better? Saving the money or going away to a great, expense-wise too, college? The colleges here are cheaper and offer quality education, but there seems to be something mythological about going away that I want to experience. P.S. I want to be a business administrator, and any reply would be cool. All right, here we go. So, dude, I think your college advisor is right, and I think that you're wrong, but that's good news. So, here's the deal. I understand going away to college. I had the same desire. There are some people who have a preference for staying for home, who don't feel that need to explore and sort of spread their wings and go out on their own. That wasn't me. I was all about wanting to, go as far away from home as I possibly could. What I learned, though, is that you don't have to go 12 hours to be away from home. If you go 90 minutes, you're away from home. If you have an understanding with your parents that they don't drop by your dorm room unannounced, then you are away from home. What really makes you kind of out there living on your own, not being with your parents anymore, spreading your wings and being your own man, is your parents not being there all the time. 1 hour, 1.5 hours, or 12 hours away, it really doesn't make a difference. That sense of separation happens in both cases. I promise you. So you live in New York City. That's kind of a bummer because, I get that there's a lot of opportunities in New York City. So if you wanted to get out of the city and find another great spot in New York, then I would understand that. But Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute, I guess that's more engineering. But there are a lot of great schools all over the entire state that you can go to and give you that kind of separation that you were hoping for away from your parents. I swear, you will feel like you went away to school, even if it's just 90 minutes. It'll be okay. Oh, and by the way, that crushing debt that you were to get from Michigan University, for example, it really is an issue. It would haunt you for the next 15 years. It would impact what house you get to live in. I have a friend, he's a dentist, so he did a lot of school, but he was literally over 40 when he finished paying off his college debt. That's forever from now. And this ball and chain around your ankle in the form of college prices is not something that you can just dismiss because you want a little bit more independence, and it's really only perceived independence in some of your late teen and early 20s. Dude, don't burden yourself with all this debt throughout your lifetime. You don't need that. Drug problem, Mail Monday. Hey Woody, I'm 16 years old, nearly 17, and over the past year or so, I've become extremely involved in drugs. It started with weed and cigarettes, but after a few weeks, it just wasn't doing it for me. So I moved on to ecstasy, speed, and the odd bit of LSD. My grades have started to suffer, and I rarely go into school. I used to have huge plans for my future, and now it seems like all I want to do is just fill myself with these tabs, which I have no idea as to what's in them. I just want to stop, but I can't help myself. I feel like they've taken over my personality, and I feel like I'm going to be on heroin and coke within a few months, and I won't live to see 20 years old. I just want advice on what I should do. Any reply would be greatly appreciated. Love your vids. Keep up the good work. Painkiller already is awesome high too. That's not the endorsement we're looking for, but let's get on to your question. See, this is tough for me. as a commentator or any kind of public figure, father figure type thing, the easiest answer for me would just be to dole out the same one that schools give, which is, drugs are bad, okay? And they're going to die tomorrow and everything is terrible, etc. But you're trying a bunch of these, and I thought I'd do a little bit of breakdown as to what you're looking at. I'm taking a risk because it looks to me like you need a no bullshit answer. So I hope it's appreciated. Anyway, weed and LSD. So weed and LSD aren't addictive, actually. They have their problems. They're bad for you. There's no doubt about that. One of the biggest problems with weed in particular, I swear it's not like the addictive properties or even the health effects can be bad, but it's not the part of weed that bothers me the most. The part of weed that bothers me the most is the social side of it. It's easy to get into a mode where you think that the weed is as or more important as the other things that are actually important in life. It's easy to get into a social group that focuses on weed a ton instead of like actual long-term success, right? Like smoking weed is not an accomplishment. And there are other groups at school, right? The athletes, the academics that are actually have accomplishments that you can be proud of. And smoking weed's not one of them. But you can get wrapped up into a group that kind of says that that's okay, right? That, you don't have to really do awesome things with life. Smoking weed is pretty awesome too, and it's not. That's the deal. And LSD, by the way, that'll have more physical effects. Like I have friends who did LSD. And, dude, he was a pretty good high school student. That means that, up till 18 years old, if you were international guys. He was a pretty good high school student, and everybody liked him, and he got good grades. And then he went to college, and he joined a fraternity, and they introduced him to pretty much weed and LSD. And then suddenly they were higher priorities for him than his achievements. And this is a real person, by the way. I know it sounds made up. But I remember I was talking to him after the first year. He had flunked out of school. And he was working that summer in construction, and he would tell me like he had these little flashbacks, like a nail would fly by his head, right? This is like a hammer and nail, like a nail flew by, and he'd says like he would almost sort of trip, like he'd see the nail fly by 5 or 6 times past his head, and it was like, whoa, what just happened there? I know what I think I saw didn't actually just occur, and it messed him up, right? Like he had long-term like brain damage, I'm looking for a better term, because of the LSD that he did. And that so there are health problems with these things, and then there are also social problems where suddenly like it's okay not to go for actual cool things, and that have like long-term ramifications and that you can be proud of, and you just focus on like the drug culture instead. Like that drug culture is almost as bad as the drugs itself in terms of messing up your life. Now, some of the other things you talked about, like speed and ecstasy, which is MDMA, that's addictive shit. You're you're messing around with stuff that gets harder to drop the longer you do it. You're 16 years old. I think it's time to come clean to your parents. They might be mad at first, but if you talk to them and let them know what kind of problems you have, hopefully they rally around this. You have a group of friends that are into drugs, I'm sure of it. You have, the drug itself pulling you that way. You need some support system around you that pulls you away from it before you miss opportunities to be better than you're going to be in life, right? Like this period you're in from like 16 to 22, your whole world is available, and then you just shut doors along the way. Like, all right, now I'll never be an astronaut. Fuck that up. Now I'm never going to be an engineer. Fuck that up. And then you just keep like limiting your job options. All right, I'll never be a chef. I'll never be a dishwasher. I'll never get a job. I'll never make it to 25. That you're just narrowing down your options along the way. And it's time to like, you're 16. You got a lot of, maybe you won't be an astronaut. Maybe that's a tough one. But you could be lots of incredibly awesome things at this point. You haven't shut any serious doors. But I think it's time for you to come clean with your parents and let them know that you've got real issues that you can't seem to beat on your own. Because you do. You're doing weed, you're doing LSD, a couple kinds of speed. You're not thriving in your teen years. And of course there's the cigarettes. I don't know how people even get into that. But it's time for you to get some help. Talk to a guidance counselor at school, talk to a parent, and come clean on this thing. And, I think if you approach this asking for help, then you're less likely to get like grounded and more likely to get the help that you need. That's the deal. I mean, if you were my kid, we'd probably move, get you in a new school district and get you all new friends and reinvent you. That's the kind of thing that might need to happen to fix your kid. And when it comes to fixing your kid, you do anything. I'm a 17-year-old from the UK at college studying Uniformed Public Services Level 3. For my American listeners, when they say college in the UK, it's kind of like junior and senior year. Recently, I've been looking at my life and realizing that I'm nothing special. I'm nothing. I've never had a girlfriend. I'm still a virgin and have no friends. The more I sit back and look at my life, the more depressed I get. I don't see what the point of me existing is anymore. No one would care if I were to leave. Nothing would change. I've fallen into a bottomless pit of depression. I can see no way out. All I can think of is the negative things, like how I ruined my chances with the only girl I've ever loved, or about how I don't stand a chance at getting a job with the police when I'm done at college. As I don't have any friends, I don't get invited out to any parties or gatherings, and I just spend time at home by myself thinking, I don't have anyone to talk to. I don't have anything that makes me happy, and I don't know what to do. Any advice would be greatly appreciated. Keep up the great videos. We actually talked about this on Painkiller already recently. It's an interesting cast because Wings, Kyle, Hutch, and I have all battled this same kind of trouble, right? I think I'm the only one of that 4 that actually tried to kill themselves, so I win, I guess. Lose. But we've all had like serious extended periods of unhappiness. And like one of the things that kind of resonated with this letter that made me want to pick it is this. It's like, I've fallen into this bottomless pit of depression. I can't see a way out. That's that's how it feels, man. Like that. And somehow when you need the energy to get going, you don't have the energy to get going, right? Like winning breeds winning and losing breeds losing. And right now you're losing, right? I don't mean that in a accusatory sense or some sort of put down, but it is what it is, right? Things aren't going the way you want them to go. Hutch had an incredible line that actually I've been thinking about since Friday night. It's Monday as I record this. And he's like, if you want to build your esteem, you have to do esteemable acts. And at the time I was like, esteemable acts, what the hell does that even mean? But it's been buzzing in my head, right? Like I remember when I went for my master's degree, and I wasn't really depressed, but it's relevant. I felt proud of me. I felt like I had signed up and started a process that made me good. Like I had done something that not everybody was doing, and I don't know. Think about you, right? You're probably a good guy, right? You probably trust you to babysit somebody. But how often are you proud of you, right? I carry myself in a way that I feel good about, but like proud, as in like accomplished something. And I think pride is something that we don't get to experience all that often, but it's what you need right now to pull yourself out of this. And, I don't know what that's going to be for you, right? Whether that means landing a few A's in college. Do they have A, B's, and C's internationally? I don't even know. Do they call them 4s? But, top grades, right? Finish at the top of your class here and there. Go out and do something. Springtime is coming, I get that springtime isn't a magical cure-all for everybody, but for me it is. And, go outside and experience some sun. Kick your own ass into gear. And, if you could just do that, then you can work your way out of this thing. And life does get better, right? I mean, hell, I was a lot worse than you were at 17. Nah, I'm a pretty happy guy. I've jumped off some heights, and I promise I'll make this relevant. But like I went to the Dominican Republic and we jumped off this cliff. It was like 40 feet high. And when I was a kid, we used to jump off these bridges around town in Ocean City, 34th Street Bridge, if that means anything to any of you guys. We used to jump off that all the time. And like the line I would tell myself is like, Woody, you only need to be brave for a second. The rest of it will take care of itself. And that's exactly what I would do. I would, just take that step off, and then from there it would handle itself. Your position of trying to break out of your rut here is a similar type of thing. Like, you only need to be brave for a day. If you can make it so that you kick your own butt into gear, put yourself into action, then tomorrow will be easier, and then it becomes habit forming and things really start going your way. That's my advice to you. I get how hard it is to motivate yourself when your problem is really a lack of motivation. But if you can do it, if you can just step off that bridge, then the rest of it takes care of itself. And suddenly motivation becomes easier because winning breeds winning. So good luck, man. I know how you feel, but springtime's coming. Get outside. Do something.